If you're serious about producing and mixing, you need to seriously understand EQ and what it is. In the world of sound, everything has what's called a frequency. And so the frequency spectrum runs from bass notes, so very, very down kind of sub bass notes, all the way up to very, very high notes. And in kind of instrument terms, you're talking about bass instruments all the way up to hi-hats and cymbals. What you want to do with EQ is find where each instrument naturally sits on the frequency spectrum. And then in the case of a mix, you might cut away so that it doesn't interfere with other instruments, or you might boost if you want it to just kind of cut through with that frequency a little bit more. But there's one thing you need to understand. The frequency spectrum and EQ cuts and boost are not independent of each other. So if you boost in one place, you're effectively cutting in another place. So a good way to think about EQ is like this piece of paper. If I want to bend this piece of paper, I can't bend it without affecting it in more than one place. And it's the same thing with EQ. You can't boost somewhere without cutting somewhere else. And you can't cut somewhere without boosting somewhere else. So you want to be careful about that. You don't want to go boosting every single frequency or cutting every single frequency. So understanding EQ becomes very important in mixing. It's a good way of separating out instruments. It's also a good way of making everything sound just a little bit better. So that's it for this tip. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, keep making music, and I'll see you next time.
Beast mode.